Hey YouTube, what's good and welcome back to yet another video. Today we have part 2 of the deck building series of where I, Ryan from Jongaa, tell you guys how I build my decks and how I come up with a lot of stuff that you see on this channel. So continuing on to where we were in part 1. So part 1 we had our initial idea, which was, using Revival Dragon Rhapsody in Dragon Link with the help of the Charmer cards to use this as a quite unique extender to, increase our ceiling and enhance our plays. So now the next question. So step 1 is, your idea and seeing if it's valid or not. And now the second thing is, well, what do you actually do when you have your idea? Because, in a tournament, you could be playing, 9, 11, 12 rounds if you run deep into top cuts. Can you perform your combos optimally in those rounds? Fast, reasonable pace? Do you have all the knowledge of the card you're trying to use? So let's jump right into it. So I guess my first example is kind of interesting. So we're just going to pair Revival Dragon Rhapsody with like a generic Dragon Link hand, a very simple hand, but assuming we have access to our vanilla, assuming that we're going to play 3 Shrine, 3 Die, maybe Dragonet, not too sure yet, but maybe that can be for part 3. I guess spoiler for part 3 will be, actually building the deck, filling in all the ratios, all the necessary pieces into, 40, 50, or 60 cards, depending how we want to go. But anyway, let's jump straight into it. So we start our combo, save Fert for our baby Chaos Dragon, interchangeable with Chaos Space, absolutely fine. Activating Dragon Shrine, and just going from there really. So we can send our vanilla, our Flame Guard, that's okay, and then Abzarada to get Rocket Tracer. Why Rocket Tracer? Well, it's the best card to have in your hand, solo by itself. Alright, so we banish our Safer, it's fine, we're going to summon it back later off Pisty anyway. And then I guess we'll go into the most standard Dragon Link setup possible. I guess if you're a competitive meta player, you should know all about this by now. So you go Striker, Boot Sector, get the Wyver Burster, summon that one, and then go into Romulus, but you don't get Dragon Ravine anymore, you get Phalanx. So I guess the idea of this is to make Herald of Arclight before you make LP, before you make Needle Fiber, making your opponent's hand traps really weird and how they have to play them. That's why Dragon Link is so strong, because of this initial setup, get your Phalanx out of your deck, and then turn this into Link Cross, get your 2 tokens, and then you synchro that for Metal Marcher, and summon back your Phalanx. So why is this so strong at this point? Well, they have to Nibiru you right here, or else their Nibiru is useless, because we get to turn it into Herald of Arclight. We all know that, everything's so cool. But, we have this card in our hand, right? We're trying to be a bit different. We're not trying to be a standard player here. So we have our vanilla, but can we really make our Fire Charmer? Maybe it's better to play another Charmer. I mean, technically, you could go into Needle Fiber and summon a Flame Guard out of the deck, and then make your Heater. That seems pretty wasteful. So technically, we could make the Wind Charmer here. And then this will make our Revival Dragon Rhapsody live. And we can skip Needle Fiber all together, which I think that's pretty cool. And maybe I'll explain why later on. But, just to round out the rest of the combo in question. So again, standard anti-Ghost Ogre setup. Effect of LP, because you have arrows here. Pro Tour, pitch a card, get Levianeer to hand loop them 1, and then we need to get rid of these, because we can only make dragons. We need to make the Buster Whelp, and then we go over here, go for Safer. Pisty summon back, Safer, and then we go Pisty and that one for Heretic Spheres. Then we can go these 2 into a Union Carrier. We can summon our Levianeer, make them lose 1 card, Boot Sector Launch, summon back our Tracer out of our hand, destroy our Legionnaire, take it back next turn of Safer, summon our Rocket Recharger, and make Borrowload Savage, equip it with the Buster Whelp. So this is a really standard Dragon Link setup that we all should know. And how we can incorporate that using our Revival Dragon Rhapsody. We had to use the Wind Charmer, so that's interesting. Maybe playing double Phalanx is good. Or, you know, maybe instead of playing Vanguard, we can play other vanilla dragons. You know, there's Baby Dragon, there's Petite Dragon as well. There's also cards like Crusadia Draco. He's also wind, quite useful if we, you know, do decide of playing this. So yeah, that's a really cool application of this card, is that we don't have to use Needle Fiber. So let's rewind a little bit to the point that we can get Nibiru'd, and then we can have a look further at more applications of this card. Okay, so rewinding back to the point that we got, well, the only point that we can get Nibiru'd. So, bam, we get Nibiru'd. Not very cool. Always makes me feel sad when I get Nibiru'd. Not good at all. But we still have a lot of extension based on the cards in our hand. So we can go ahead and activate our Boots, take the launch, and summon our Rocket Tracer. And then, since we haven't used our Needle Fiber yet, again, standard Dragon Link stuff. Everyone who plays Dragon Link knows this, that if you have an extender at this point, you're more or less fine. You know, you go into your Hagi Fiber, but then our deck especially. So say, if we played 2 Phalanx, or we had the Femme Guard still in our deck. So just the same, assuming we're on the Wind Charmer, maybe we have to play 2 Phalanx. Sounds weird, but maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's the only way to make this work. Who knows? And then we can just slam these guys into win, and then play our Revival Dragon Rhapsody, and then continue where we left off from before. Essentially doing the same combo, just a little different. So that's one really cool advantage of this card, is, you know, Revival Dragon Rhapsody. You know, extending through Nibiru if you play the right Charmer, and then jumping in quickly to Link Spider. So rewinding back again, imagining if we don't even have these in our hand, right? For example, we could have Dragon Ravine, or any way of getting a dragon to the graveyard. We can actually send World Chalice Guard Dragon to the graveyard. And so, I mean, why is that good? We can turn our Nibiru token into Link Spider, and then we can activate World Chalice Guard Dragon's effect. We can banish it to summon back a vanilla in our grave to the zone it points to. So say, if we were playing Heater, we could summon back Phantom Guard, or if we were playing the Wind Charmer, we can summon back like Petite Dragon or Baby Dragon instead. And then, you know, from there, we can do the same thing again. I mean, this just gives us more ways of playing, I guess, if we get hand trapped, especially because, you know, we're already going to be playing 3 World Legacy Guard Dragon. We're already going to be playing the maximum amount of extenders anyway, like any of the normal Dragon Link deck does. This just gives us more power, or perhaps an even greater power, to play through, you know, hand traps and cards like Nibiru. Alright, so let's jump in and talk about one more setup that I really like. So that setup in question, I guess rewind again, a hand where we already have the element that we need to make, you know, our Charmer, and then an extender. So maybe in theory, we can hold off, you know, on Romulus, on Linkross, all that stuff. We can hold off on everything, right? So we can, you know, normal whatever element we need, play a card like, you know, extender like Quick Launch, or, you know, it could be Die normal, it could be Chaos Space normal, it could be anything, you know. There's a lot of ways of achieving this. You can just slam these straight into your Charmer of choice. So I guess that's 3 summon, and then, you know, play your Revival. So your opponent can Nibiru you here, but, you know, as we mentioned previously, if we have a card like Dragon Shrine or Dragon's Ravine or any other tuner extender, we should be fine. We should be able to still keep going and still play, especially because we haven't even used Linkross yet or Romulus yet. There's lots of ways of keep going and keep playing, but we can just slam these guys, you know. We can just go them straight into Needle Fiber. get the tuner that we need, preferably a dragon one. You know, any dragon tuner will do, and then you could turn them straight into Appaloosa as well. You know, there's different setups. We don't always have to go for spheres. We can do a lot of other things. It's usually just getting a feel of, you know, how our opponent's playing, you know, what kind of hand traps we may expect them to have, etc., etc., etc. And then we just go like there from normal. So instead of saying going about a roundabout way, you know, with Romulus, Lincross, all that kind of stuff, we could just go, you know, slam straight. I mean, we don't even have to go into the needle fiber, right? We could just go tonk, and then immediately go, you know, tonk. Just like before, again, holding a needle fiber in case we do get hand trapped in some way, but I think it's fine. I mean, so far I'm getting pretty good vibes from playing Win. Maybe we'll have to adjust our recipe to be a more wind-based strategy. But, you know, it's just really cool, all in all. Like, I'm really excited to build this deck now. Now that I've thought about it a lot more, and like the end fields that we can make, and the different kinds of, I guess, counterplay to main hand traps that we've gone through here. Seems really good. I mean, Win would have been so good if they didn't ban Mecha Beast Lion, but that's a shame. He kind of had to die. We all know that. So I guess, in terms of our deck building, what happens when we actually draw this card? Well, it can be quite useful. Extending our plays, holding off our resources, as well as breaking through hand traps, giving us good counterplay to hand traps. So thanks for tuning in to part 2 of the, I guess, deck build guide. You know, these are kind of the exercises or things I'll go through in my head when I'm building a deck. You know, what are the different kind of things that my idea can do better than maybe other decks or other ideas cannot? How can I enhance what already exists in the meta? And what can I push forward? Anyway, stay tuned for part 3, where in part 3 we'll actually build the base of the deck. We'll go through how I build, you know, what kind of deck size, why I'm playing the amount of cards, the kind of engine pieces you need, and the kind of supplementary options. Remember, if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, Jongaa5 at chaoticfactory.com, and peace out, guys. Thank you so much. Alright, guys, quick bonus combo. I guess, what if you brick in a really weird way with your Revival Rhapsody, and you have no choice but to, I guess, play a bit greedy and a bit aggressive? You can actually see that the cards are quite, you know, quite good at reverse engineering themselves. What do I mean by reverse engineering themselves? So I guess the cards that you would start with, you can still access later on in the combo regardless. So, you know, an example would be, you know, you have your Rocket Tuner or your Dragon Tuner, any one will do. We just have to assume that we have to get our Dragon vanilla off Needle Fiber. So we go Striker, we get Boot Scepter, we play War Legacy Guard Dragon, summon back our Rocket Synchron, and then we have to desperately go into Needle Fiber first. Kinda sucks, but what choice do we have really? And then we will probably use it to get Galaxy Serpent, level 2, quite good. And then from here, we go straight into LP, and then we move it across with our Red Legacy Guard Dragon, activating LP. Getting Black Metal, and then standard Dragoning stuff, Pisty over here, and then Pisty summoning back Galaxy Serpent. Now, the cool stuff happens because we can go these two into Romulus, and then search Dragon Ravine, and we can go Romulus and Serpent into our Wind Charmer. So we have our Spellcaster, so now we can activate our Revival Dragon Rhapsody. So technically we could summon back our Romulus. That's quite good. We can summon back our Striker Dragon. There's a lot we can do. But, you know, simplicity's sake, we get summoned back to 3 dragons, and then we can actually turn our Win into Lincross. And then get out 2 tokens. And then proceed into the standard stuff. So, you know, the cards that we used before in our opening combo, we can actually just access them later on. And it's more or less the exact same, which is really cool. And then I guess an interesting about this setup is we can just go 2 light monsters for Union Carrier. I guess I should say before we make this, we should activate our Dragon's Ravine send Abzerata and add our Rocket Tracer to our hand. Now we're like this, and then, you know, exact same thing. We banish whatever dragon we get him back, summon our Red Eyes, activate Red Eyes, summon any dragon, it's fine. And then same thing, Buster Whelp, Spheres, and end with Brute Sector, Tracer, Savage. So that's really cool. Nice little quick bonus combo there. It's pretty good, guys.